garden friends, welcome back to Flower Patch. Today we are going to pot up rose cuttings that have rooted and some petunias that I started from seed. So let's get rolling. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and or share with your friends. They might enjoy it too. Alrighty, really quick, I'm going to put these trellises, well, what are they called? Plant stakes. Aren't these cute? In this ivy over here. You'll notice I got rid of the orange wire or cord. I thought bugged me every time I edited a video. So here is, I'm going to put this in here so I can get some more height out of this. And I know you can't see very well, but I'm just stringing this through this S shape. And more. I have some copper wire that I was going to make topiaries with, and I still will. I just haven't gotten to that project yet. So I wanted to bring this higher up so that I can kind of hide that. And that right now isn't secured very well. It pops out of the little hook thing. It was a command strip. I couldn't find my little screw and cup hooks that I normally use for that. But I wanted the ivy to kind of climb up that and kind of hide it. So what I'm going to do is string some wire with the cord, and then I'll have the ivy trained up it so it'll look prettier that way. For some reason, that cord just bugs me. Fortunately, that one's a dark green, so it's less obnoxious. So anyways, let us go ahead. I'll just put this back here, this one, and get started on potting up. I don't know what do I want to start with? The roses? Maybe the petunias. I'm going to start with the petunias. I'll point you down a little bit so you can see, and we'll talk about it. Yeah. Look at these gnats. Yuck. That's the one of these. This one is the container that I did not pasteurize the soil, and it had fungi gnat larvae in it. It was my bad, my being lazy. So we will start. I have these. I did put a bunch of other plants in these. They're already inside the house. I don't know if I have another stack of these. I really have liked these. Now, some people say that these clear containers, see, they're not actually clear, translucent, that they'll start to get the green growth in it, like algae and whatever. It doesn't hurt the plants when it does, but I haven't had any issues with it. Maybe they're not in it long enough. Maybe they're squished together that the light's not reaching it. It's from the sunlight reaching it. Now, what I like about these is, number one, I can see how much moisture's in there. So I don't have to guess about watering. And I can see the roots. When the roots are coming down, and I think, okay, they're almost to the bottom. It's time to pot this up. So to me, I like them. And I got these at Bootstrap Farmer. I have a video where I got them, and I said I love these. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to use for the petunias. So I'm going to start with these. This was the mix that I wanted so badly, the taffy mix. Now I put 20 seeds in here. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 plants that look viable. I have some that have just stunted. I'll pot them up too. But this is the one that was full of fungus gnats. And what the fungus gnats do, in fact, there's one crawling right there, is they eat roots of your seedlings. And that's how they damage them. So, my bad. And I have debated on going ahead and starting more, because the garden center where I get my wave petunias at a very reasonable price. I think last year they were $6 for a 6-pack. This year, I'm sure they've gone up. Prices everywhere have gone up. So I wouldn't fault this garden center for raising the prices a little bit. So they might be, say, $8. Well, you get 6 for $8. That's not a bad price for 6 petunias, and they're usually pretty good size and healthy. And I'm so close to that season where they will have petunias available that it's not worth it to me to try to start more seeds. If these had done well, you know, that's another story. But sometimes you just have bad starts. And I'm telling you this so you don't lose heart if you had some fails with seed starting. Usually I have bang up success with starting petunias from seed. So I don't know. Don't know what happened. I just started, yesterday I was in here dinking around. I started the dollar store seed starting kit. I put all my other petunia seeds in that to get started, and they're in on my light rack right now. They're on the heat mat. So hopefully they will take off, and hopefully the garden center will have this new mix that I wanted. If they don't, not a big deal. I have pink wave started. I have all kinds of other things that will do fine in my circle garden, in the secret cottage garden. So I will set my roses that I started. There's only 2 of them that aren't rooted, but they have the little nubs on it that says they're going to root, and they haven't died or failed. So those will get potted up as well, because I want to use that seed starting tray. So I have my organic Rev all started here, and I will put some, well, I could probably soak them right now with it in this soil, and then when I dig them up, they'll already have their little boost. That way I don't have to try to soak the tiny roots. This one here, this one is Evening Sensation. Now it's a pretty lavender that has a sweet scent that is so pretty. A lot of times they remind me of sweet peas, the scented ones. So, okay, I'm getting everything organized here and stuff out of my way. What did you think of my talk on native flowers? I know some people didn't quite get the gist of what I was saying. And so I have a clip from a study that kind of says it all. And it's not to say, because some said, well, you know, yes, butterflies will go for any flowers, or a lot of different flowers, but it's the larvae that they need specific plants for. And that's true. But like with the butterflies that are native here, like the swallowtail, there's Gold Coast something, there's all these different ones that I get in my garden. Well, the swallowtail and this other one that I couldn't remember the name of, they need either the oak trees, which there's a whole forest of oak trees right across the street from me. I don't need to plant one. Or the aspens. There's a whole forest of those down by the lake. I don't have to plant them for the butterfly larvae. As well as there was one, willow. Well, there's no willows that I know of up here, but those butterflies have the aspens or the oaks, so they're good to go. I can plant the flowers I want for the nectar. So, and I have the milkweed going for the monarchs. So it's a win-win all the way around. I don't have to worry about them not having food for their larvae, their babies. Okay, so let's get started on this. I'm going to fill these up, and this is the potting soil that I pasteurized in my microwave. I will put you down a little bit. Okay. I pasteurized it. I did it for 4 minutes this time to make sure. And it depends on the wattage of your microwave. I think mine's 1500 or something like that. I'm not certain, but I made sure it got good and hot. In fact, it steamed here for a while when I dumped it out yesterday. Did that yesterday, so I'd be all ready to roll today. So let's get it all going. Let me point you a little bit more this way. Okay, I think that's good. Isn't it good? Yeah. All right. I had somebody ask for a tour of my greenhouse, so I need to get it together and kind of organize it to do it justice, because right now I've got so much stuff stacked in here, and I've just been coming in here videoing, doing some potting up or seeding, and then going back to my desk, because I have a corporation that we co-own, my husband and I am the bookkeeper for that corporation, and that keeps me quite busy as well. Okay, so I got these filled up. I don't think I'm going to have enough of these. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, these could go into 1, these 2. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's got quite a bit. Okay, no, I don't have enough. But I will have to go and scrub up some other containers. Or I do have those 6 packs that I told you I was keeping to plant things up in that I could do. All right. Only thing with those is I can't see the roots. So I'm going to get out my little tool from Gardener's Supply. This one you can get it on Amazon, and I'll link to it below. I love this little trowel. It's perfect for when you're digging up these little seedlings. Can you see down here? Yes, you can. And I'm just digging down underneath it, pulling it up, and look at all those wonderful, wonderful roots. Let me get my face up there so it focuses, or maybe get my face out of it completely. Can you see that? Okay, lots of roots. Healthy roots. So I will need to dump some of this out because it's too full. I put that in there, and I just kind of gently press it in where the roots make contact with the soil that's in the little pot. I don't even think I need to add more. So I'm going to put this over. I'm going to get a little tray because I'm going to water it in just a bit with the organic Rev. And I'm out of little trays. Oh, I see some more of those. Ah, here's one. I keep all sorts of things to work with. And I'll just pour a little bit of the organic Rev in there to give them roots a boost. Okay. Up, I got a little bit of root showing there. I'll just top it up. Alrighty. One down. And some of these, that was the largest one. Now this one has quite a bit different leaf structure than that one. So this must be one of the, one's yellow and one's pink. So this one must be one of the other, either it's yellow and that one's pink, or that one's yellow and this one's pink. But either way, so I'll water that in later once I get that going. Yeah, I was thinking I wouldn't get any of these when I spotted all those fungus gnats flying out of that soil. Just one of those things where I got lazy and then later kicked myself. And the reason why, if you're new here, others already know, is because I was using potting soil that had been outside in the cold and wet, and the fungus gnats larvae were in it, and when I used it and brought it in the house where it's warm, they hatched, and just, of course, they needed their closest food, which was the seedling roots. And yeah, just totally devastated my little petunias. Yeah, I put these two, because they're small, in this same one, and when they get bigger, let me see, will that focus for you? I don't know. It wants to focus on my face. That's the setting on it, and that's why it doesn't always do it. Okay, so I will reuse the soil because I can pasteurize it again, or pasteurize it, and then use it, and then mix it up, because yeah, either that or I can put it out into that compost heap. But I do want to pasteurize it because I know it's filled with fungus gnats, and I don't want them in my garden. If they get too thick in even a garden bed out in the garden, they can also devastate. So I'm going to put mix on these little things, because that way I'll know it's the mix. And then, yeah, if I get 4, 5 out of it, I will be happy, since I was the one that goofed up. So, okay. And to get this off of these, I just use straight rubbing alcohol, and it comes right off. So I don't worry about it. I didn't even bother taking the paint pen off of it because I knew I was going to use a different color. So I know the difference, because you see right here, this is where I used it last year for my denim shades petunia. It says denim on it. Yes, last year was when I really fell in love with them. Do I want to do the Sensation, or do I want to do, this is Super Bissima Cernese Mixed Petunia. Oh, I didn't think any of my, maybe, let me double check. I didn't write something else on here. Okay, well, that's good. The other mix, the cherry mix, did not make it. That one was so full of fungus gnats that it didn't stand a chance. Now some people, I'll just put super on this so I know what it is. Some people find this tedious. the having to pot up. And I guess if you're not really into it, I guess it could be. But I find it very relaxing to come out here and do this. The promise of beautiful plants that you grew from seed. It's part of the slow gardening that I love. I have a blog post. It's called Slow Gardening. Put the gardening back in gardening, because you see so many things where people get a truckload of plants and all of a sudden they have the whole garden planted, and yeah, that's nice. We all like a before and after right away, instantaneous gratification. But with gardening, half the joy is really nurturing the plants, starting things from seed and watching them grow. And at least it is for me. It's not just about having a beautiful plant. It's about growing that plant and watching it mature. And also there's something gratifying about putting just a little speck of look like dust practically into soil and then having it produce a beautiful plant that provides you joy all summer long. Okay, this one doesn't look very good. I don't think that one's going to make it. Okay, so I'm going to put this in that bag of soil too, to be pasteurized. And then I can reuse this tray for something else I want to broadcast seed, but I'll clean it up and scrub it up good first. All right, so I only have one of these left, and I said I had some down here, and I do. These actually already have soil in them, but I think I'm going to replace it because I added some extra perlite to this soil here, as well as some green sand. The green sand, I had it on hand, is why I put it in there. And what it's usually used for, if I've seen why I bought it, was I was going to try soil blocking. But for me, it was just so tedious, and I just didn't like it. And the blocks dry out so fast. So there's a race between keeping them watered and overwatering. So, yeah, they just really dried out fast. So you practically have to water them every single day. And I guess that's doable. I should say it's part of slow gardening, but I'm not want evening sensation. I'll just put evening. Okay. Now, there was that article I spoke about, and I will finish this up in just a minute. But I'll do it because you saw how you just pot them up. Super easy. There's no rocket science to it. You just dig it up. I guess I should show you up close because you haven't been up close. You just dig it up. You put the trowel in away from the base, and you just lift it up and right under the roots. And then you just press it down into the pot of soil. But I got my hands all grubby. Now, I was going to read you that excerpt on native plants from this wildlife forum, wildflower forum, whatever it was called. So, the WLGF, which is the Wildlife Gardening Forum, and it says, the Wildlife Gardening Forum was involved in designing the Royal Horticultural Society's Plants for Bugs project. This was the first experimental study of garden biodiversity aimed at assessing the value of non-native plants compared with natives. 5 scientific papers have come from the study so far, and the results are clear. For pollinators, planting a mix of flowers from a variety of origins was best, and the more flowers, the better, making some cultivars better than the original plants. Species from the northern hemisphere closely related were nearly as good as native species for herbivores and for detritus eaters. Origin didn't matter. Long-established non-native plants had more insects associated than new rivals. Some insect species, 9 to 32%, were only found on non-native plants, which represent a new resource for some otherwise rare native insects. Exotic species from the southern hemisphere prolonged flower resources for pollinators into late summer and supported more ground-dwelling invertebrates in winter. Most importantly, the study showed that denser the vegetation, the better for most invertebrates, regardless of where the plants came from. So, conclusion. Although you may choose to plant only native species in your garden, you really don't need to. Typical gardens planted for pleasure using non-natives are excellent. There are lots of myths perpetuated in wildlife gardening books, so it has been good to dispose of that one. So it's not that we're dismissing natives, but we're combating the myth that natives are always better, or you will have an easier garden, or more biodiversity by planting only natives. I just saw there was an ad from a local, you saw Green Acres when I went to it. And they had they had a special on some plant, or it was on covering because they were having a cold spell, how to take care of some of the more sensitive plants in that area that people may be growing. And it was good advice on how to do that. And then someone in the comments said, well, if they planted natives, then it wouldn't matter. And that's not true. You know, I could plant certain natives here. They're native to California, but they're not native to the mountains. And they would succumb to the cold temperatures. So people have this illogical reasoning that you need to focus only on planting native plants. And that was what I was trying to dispel in my last video. And not everybody seemed to get it. So that's why I made sure and brought that article to read to you, or the excerpt of it. They have 2 other articles explaining the science of it, and another one on best practices or something. Anyways, I found that very illuminating. And just shows you, the only reason I even brought it up, and I did say this in my comments of my other video, was because people have been shaming others online or whatever for not planting, for picking out some non-native plants for their gardens. And that shouldn't be. They shouldn't have the right, or they shouldn't feel like they are superior in their knowledge of gardening, etc., so that they feel that they can look down on, or somehow, I don't know, speak badly to people who choose ornamental flowers for their being pretty. So not all plants in your garden have to be specifically for the pollinators, etc. You know what I'm going to do? Put that there. So anyways, I just think it's important that we know that you need balance in everything. So, and you know, come to find out, a lot of plants that I love plants in my garden are native. I was just, oops, there's 2 in there. Now, here we go. I am going to pull this apart. There's 2 that are very close together. See that? So I'm grabbing a leaf from each of them, make sure that, and I just pull them apart. See that? Hopefully that was semi-focused. And then I'm going to plant them in the pots. Oh, wait a minute. Did I put evening on that one? I wasn't paying attention. No. Oh, good, I didn't. Super, super, super. I did on that one. That is super. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. Yeah, I had one gal recommend that I kind of keep it together better on one subject as I'm doing stuff. It can be disconcerting to have me bouncing all over the place. But that's how I fly. That's how my brain works. When my daughter was in 3rd grade, I had to take her in for testing for ADHD. And she was afraid, so I took the test too with her. And they told me I was worse than she was. That was the first time I'd ever been informed that I had attention deficit disorder. And it made so many things make so much more sense. So I was very happy that they let me know that. So if I'm kind of all over the place or what have you, blame my brain. It's okay, I get lots of things done. And I had good grades in school, so it was all good. Alrighty, these petunias are going to be gorgeous. Now these will all go, this tray is what I had those trays in, and they will go back into on my light rack because it is not warm enough yet to even bring them out here, even though next week we're going to get close to 70 degrees, which I'm just so thrilled with. The only downside is a lot of things will jump up in growing, and then we'll get some hard freezes again. But a lot of the things that I have planted in the jugs for winter sowing, they are the cold hardy annuals or perennials, and they will make it through any kind of cold snaps like that just fine. So that's why I don't do like warm weather ones, because they won't. And we have such wild springs. Yeah, yesterday I was out here potting up, or repotting, I should say, my sweet potato vines that I propagated to overwinter. And because they start looking sad about this time of the year, and so they need a boost. And yeah, they already look better. And also I take more cuttings from them and start those, and so I have a whole bunch by the time I can plant them out. I can't plant them out until June because it's just so cold here. Until we have cold weather through May. We'll have a few days of warm and goes up and down, but we'll have some really cold nights. And we may even get more snow. We've had snow on May 31st before. So it can happen. A lot of us get anxious to get out in our gardens, and we try to put things out too early. And yeah, we get caught. Even my cousin and friend, garden friend, who lives down at the base of the mountain from me, and they are considered a zone 9B. And yeah, they have to be careful because those late freezes go that far down. And a lot of other 9Bs in California, like Janie over at Dig Plant Water Repeat, her last frost date is already gone and passed, and she probably won't have any issues. But that just shows you where you're at in the state, close to the mountain, whatever. You can have a bearing on when your last frost date. It's not what your zone is that determines your last frost date. And I think it's a big mistake a lot of people make. They don't realize that because it's not always stated. I still see people on these garden forums that say, I'm in zone 7B, can I plant my petunias out yet? And you're like, I don't know, I'm zone 8B and I can't. And maybe they could. Maybe their frost date is already passed and the temperatures are warm enough. I've been getting notes from people like Pennsylvania and whatever, and they've been having 70s and 80s. And my husband has a work associate in Michigan. And they've had unusually warm weather. So it's just strange everywhere. Alrighty. Now this one right here doesn't look very good, so I'm not going to worry about planting it up. Did I already put the name on this one? No, I didn't. Okay, I have the petunias all done. Super. Yeah, let's see. I think that's it for today. So I hope you enjoyed this video, potting up rooted roses and some petunias. and my little excerpt about the native plants, one of the studies that I read. So I will see you in my next video. I had thought of going to a daylily plant garden tomorrow, and then I thought, well, next week's going to be even warmer, so I might plan to do it next week. And next week I probably will start my tomato seeds. I have a few varieties. I did do the winter sowing experiment with some of the tomatoes. The sad thing about that is I need them to be bigger faster than normally they would do that way. Though a lot of times seedlings catch up, but that's all well and good. So I will see you in my next video. Come on back and we'll have some more fun. Hopefully I'll be getting outside. There's still snow out there, but hopefully soon I'll be getting outside to work in the garden, get kind of caught up on weed pulling, etc. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.